Hello and welcome to my presentation. What is motivation? Motivation is believed to be a drive to fulfill a need. This definition was brought forward by Gill in 1986. Gill believed that motivation was the drive which made us do particular actions. This is what John is experiencing in part 1. Though Schoolpool was treating other factors through this, he was motivated to carry on to remain healthy. Motivation is something which drives people to reach a goal which they want to achieve. This can range from person to person. Motivation is the driving force which is used to achieve an individual's desired goals. This might make someone behave in a certain way. It may change their behavior, such as someone who wants to get into the gym might start being more healthy and active. This is because they want to be motivated to get healthy. There are many characteristics around motivation. This is persistence of it, the decision of the person and what behavior and action they take to this, and the intensity of motivation and which direction the motivation might be in. There are two branches of motivation. One of these is intensity of the behavior displayed during the motivation and the change of behavior. The intensity of the behavior is the degree of emotional energy that the person feels in different situations. For example, John might feel extremely motivated when he first began swimming, yet compared to the secondary school condition, this emotional energy might have decreased due to external factors. From this, it then determines the direction of the behavior which the individual displays and acts upon this. The other type of motivation is the direction of the behavior. This is how the individual acts upon the emotional drive and which direction of drive they might choose. Some might get on with it whilst others ponder around and lack the motivation. There are many ways that the direction of behavior can be used. For example, someone might be motivated to stay in bed rather than go to the gym. This is the direction of motivation. They are more motivated to sleep in rather than go to the gym, for example. There are also three types of subcategories of motivation. One of these is amotivation. This is the lack of motivation which the individual has. The individual normally delays and does not follow the program or task which they are having to do to reach their goal. This can be seen in John's situation. As the grades are posted on the wall, he sees his grade as an average grade and stops with his swimming and starts bunking. This could be due to not getting the rewards he might think he deserves and leads into amotivation. This can lead to a temporary state of the individual as they might not have the effort or interest for a while and they might suddenly feel like carrying on with their goal. Another type of motivation is intrinsic motivation. This is where a performer may take part in a sport purely for the love of the sport because they hugely enjoy what the sport contains. This player strives from inwardly and to enjoy their time doing this. People may partake in events not for the competition or the money from winning, but for pure love of the sport and taking part of the event which they have chosen. People choose to do this as they purely love them. This is purely for themselves, which make them feel good. They're not worried what someone else might be doing. This will affect their motivation also. They'll have a high level of motivation due to their deep love and passion for the sport, meaning they'll be more motivated to attend this and take part. This is what John might have felt like at the beginning of his swimming lessons. He wasn't the best, but nagged everyone to take him and to make sure he could improve. He also loved swimming, meaning he didn't mind how good he was compared to everyone else. This type of motivation also brings out intrinsic rewards. Some of these might be a thrill of a challenge, as the individual doesn't attend to compete. They might enjoy the challenge, which makes the game more enjoyable for the individual. They get a reward of enjoyment out of this type of motivation, as they love the event sport they are doing. They automatically get enjoyment out of it and the action and excitement from the sport. Although they may not be the best at it, they can have a sense of pride due to pushing themselves through difficult circumstances, performing at the highest level they can. There are many ways to maximize this type of motivation. This could be encouraging the risk-taking of the player and allowing the choices in the sport. Coaches should encourage the resilience of the players, reward effort instead of performance. They should also limit comparisons so people don't put themselves down or are motivated to this. The opposite type of motivation to intrinsic motivation is extrinsic motivation. This is behavior which is a result because of external factors. There are sources outside the performer which might affect the way the performer feels. This could be the factors such as rewards and reinforcement. They might perform only for the rewards, such as money and fame and reinforcement from the people who they from the people who they recognise as role models. For example, someone might do a certain sport because their parents want them to, and they see this as positive and get positive reinforcement out of this and may end up as a reward. John was very proud of his 25 metres and 55 metres, so he put them on his wall. He was motivated to reach them and knew he could get a reward out of it and reinforcement from his parents for doing so. This was external factors which motivated him to reach his goal, not the love of swimming. This type of motivation is very useful though when the performer wants to improve their performance. This means they want to be the best and are motivated to train harder and reach that goal, evidently improving their skills. Rewards from this type of motivation could be trophies, money, badges and certificates. All of these are artificial. This also might bring in tangible types of rewards, such as higher status in sport, praise from people, and higher level of competition. Yet, overmotivation can cause a burnout syndrome. This is where the performer has a long amount of exposure to physical or psychological stress as they are motivated to reach their goals. Yet, when they don't reach these goals, this can cause low esteem, lead to emotional exhaustion because they feel like they've put everything in and they've still got no rewards from it. Overall, this is where an individual has set an unrealistic goal which is too high and too difficult for the performer to reach. There are signs which accompany this. This could be addiction to training to the point where it's unhealthy, anxiety and trying to meet the goals, withdrawal from the society also. They may act as though they're out of place. This is linked to addiction and withdrawal symptoms of exercise, normally kicking in around 24 to 36 hours after exercise. There are factors which might affect motivation. One is the leader/coach. This leader acts as a role model where the player might look up to them, become motivated to be like them. The more influential the leader is on the climate, the more motivated the player will feel. Another factor which might affect motivation is the family or peers. This could be either negative or positive. A more supportive family is better and they will help with the motivation of the player. If they have more support, this can lead to a high level of confidence and success. The physical environment which they are in also affects the motivation. If they are provided with all the equipment and facilities they need, they could be more motivated as they have the correct equipment to train harder and perform better, compared to someone who has dull equipment or none. The last major factor which affects motivation is the personality of the performer themselves. Everyone has a complete different personality. Some might be more motivated than others. This is down to 3 theories. The trait theory. This believes that their personality is motivated due to genetics, the social learning theory, which means that they are motivated by the leader, and the interactionist theory approach, where they think their personality is affected due to their experience and how the individual interacted in the environment. We then move on to the theories around motivation. One of these is the need achievement theory. This is when an individual feels as though they need to achieve success for its own good. This was brought forward by Atkinson, 1964. This is where the individual primarily played the sport or event to win and to get accomplishments. The individuals who have this strive for the highest and may not enjoy the sport as much as they do love winning the winning satisfaction. This theory also suggests that the person who has a high level of achievement motivation would have a high tendency to strive for success. Yet during fails they still persist through this and they love the pride and experiences. John doesn't experience this. When he saw Heath wasn't fast and considered this a failure, he gave up. Compared to this theory, this believes John should have continued to persist the failure and learn from it basically. This theory is composed of personality and situation factors. The tendency of a person's achievement motivation or competitiveness comes from the need to achieve minus need to avoid failure times probability of success times incentive value of success. The personality of the individual then depends on how they are motivated, such as if they have a low need for achievement and need to avoid failure. They won't be as motivated to do something as someone who has a high on both of these, such as John. He seems not to care massively about achievements or failures. He might be in the middle as he likes winning, but also doesn't like failure. The level on the graph on the left shows us where our personality puts us and how we are and what we need to show how motivated we are. The situational factors then also come into play. It's how motivated we are depending on the situation. For example, The big team should win, but as they are such a big team, they won't try as hard as they are playing the much smaller team. Yet, as underdogs, they are more likely to have a higher incentive value of the success, as they would rarely win against big teams. They have nothing to lose but have a big reward if they win. This means they will try much harder than the big club. The graph on the right shows this. A is the underdogs and B would be the bigger club. There are two different types of people in this theory. Those who have a higher achieve, who go looking for challenges, seek specific test goals, and feel as they are in competition with others, and who are low achievers. They shy from the challenges and have general outcome goals. This could be John. He might be here as he is average and doesn't seek the challenges like others. People also have emotional reactions to this, depending on the need for achievement or the need to avoid failure. The emotions normally associated with need for achievement are maximizing and the focus of the pride, whilst for failure is minimizing or avoiding the shame. Overall, if you have a motive to achieve success and high probability of success, this will lead to enhanced performance, and someone who looks for a challenge, whilst the motive to avoid failure and incentive value of success lead to performing badly and not avoiding risks. There are ways to improve need for achievement. These include achievable, realistic goals, positive reinforcement from whoever it might be, and ensure the tasks are challenging for the individual. There are ways to reduce need to avoid failure. These include reducing the punishment when they fail, so they don't think about the consequences so much when they do fail. Focusing on negative feedback on effort rather than their ability. This is what happened to John. He sees his feedback as negative, and the ability therefore gives up. The next theory is attribution theory. This theory looks into the reasons given by coaches and the players which account for their success and failures, and what and how they blame them on other things, and the way they learn from them. In this theory, there are very strong links between the achievement, motivation, and attribution. This theory was brought by Weiner in 1982 and 1992. It's just that the attribution is the process of deciding and looking into what the reason or cause for the events of the behaviour were. They then act upon this, and the effects of this attribution. This can improve future performance, and the player can become more involved and put more effort in. From the diagram, it shows the locus of casualty and stability. These relate to the cause of the behaviour and what it's normally blamed on, or it is associated with. Such as when John was swimming well and thrived, he put this down to his stable and internal ability. He felt as though he was very good, yet when he got his break back in from GCC, he might have put this down to internal unstable effort or the practice. The locus of casualty is how the individual views themselves. They might think they are not good enough, or that the opposition were cheating, or they had a fluke goal or such, yet might also blame themselves. While stability dimensions focuses on if the approach is stable, which is positive feedback, or is unstable, which is negative, and potentially blaming something which isn't down to them, such as luck or officials. If it's stable, this increases the expectation of success, but if it's unstable, this decreases the expectation of success. This goes for the locus. If they perform well and it's too internal, this increases the pride of the possibility of shame. This also goes for external. Stability dimension can be changed. Stability dimension can be changed. If John swims well, his stability would be stable, as he would be proud of his swimming. Yet once he saw his GCSE PE, he went into unstable and was put off due to this. There are consequences which come from the attribution theory. The success of the internal attribution can be the development of pride and increased confidence and self-esteem. There are also positive external attribution. This can be the pride is normally associated with success, leading to the person being more motivated to win. Yet, when there are then failures to this, external attribution for failure can help to eliminate the shame and improve their expectation of success in the future, so the player isn't always looking for the success. There are also internal things, such as confidence, by highlighting the ability and competence.